Hey traders, this is Taylor with Top Pick Trading. Back for a Friday bar by bar. It's been a little while. Hope you guys have been doing pretty well. Had a request to make a bar by bar today from my friend Matt, so I promised him I'd do it. So here we are. Let's get started. It's December 6, 2024, and this is our overnight price action up to 8 a.m., which is right here. And this is where you'd come in, and the earliest you could trade. And so you draw your overnight price action, not much of it, very low volume overnight. Looks like we have just a little range here, overnight highs around this area, little breakout here, and then overnight lows in this general area. Nothing too defined, just kind of chopping sideways. So you can see here we get this first entry short. I think there was an 8:30 news item. Yes. So you'd want to go ahead and be short right in here. This is 8:20. Um, It was, yeah, the unemployment rate. So that's usually a pretty big ticket item. So you'd want to go ahead and be flat until after this news. And you can see it happens right here. You get the new low on this little downtrend here, and then it explodes higher. But like I said, you don't want to take anything during that time. And it's still kind of going crazy. It looks like maybe it's starting to quiet down right in here. Back to a normal size bar there. 8 ticks, 13 ticks. So you could probably start considering trading. Again, at this point, it looks like we had this strong impulsive move upward. But it does look like there's maybe a break and new high on that. We got this little hidden second entry here, but after the break and new high, a little bit away from the MA, you'd probably want to wait on that. Just chopping sideways. Looks like maybe there's some little range in this area. Let's see if we can bounce some more at this support. And here's the open right here. We do bounce here, but look at that congestion. It didn't tick lower. And looks like maybe we're working higher now. Yes, we are. So it looks like there's an uptrend here. Pushing higher. Noticing right here, once the news item happened, we were never able to gap below that EMA, so it does seem overall bullish here. So we'll see what happens when we are able to return that EMA, if we can get a second entry. And unfortunately, get a first entry, second entry right here, floating away from that EMA, and not a good bar anyway. So no setup there, unfortunately. Keeps chopping sideways. This little higher low here, but after we'd already retested the high, so nothing there. And we get another really strong push here, so there may be a larger channel at play, so we'll look at that. Maybe some channel like this. That actually fits rather well. So we'll keep an eye on this for now. So let's see if we can get that elusive second entry. Notice our local uptrend now has a break, new extreme, but we're still within this channel, so let's see if we can get two legs back. We don't get the first entry trigger here, and we get a bullish bar overall, but still a doji. It's just a first entry. Like I said, you could say there's a hidden second entry there, but if I'm going to take a hidden second entry, I need something very nice locally, and this bar is not it. Looks like it would have worked for a small scalp. It's hard to know that at the time, and it appears maybe there's a little break, new extreme. Could probably widen this just a tad and say, yeah, I mean, you could say right there, it still kind of looks like a break. Very small though, so we'll just keep an eye on how prices are reacting at the EMA. So we get this higher low here, but it's after that new possible extreme here. Um, you'd want this higher low to push right here and form right here before it made this new high here. Right here, we're coming off the highs, so it's really more just of a first entry than anything. It's also floating a bit there, so doesn't trigger anyway, so no worries there. And appears maybe there's another little range here, but we are breaking out of that now. Get this lower high, but this is the first time below that EMA since the open, really before that, since the 8:30 news item, so no setup there. Get a second entry here, but just kind of out in space, and we've also obviously got this little downtrend working here. There we go. Let's see if we can get maybe some push off this low and then a new extreme. You can see there we got the higher low, but it's way too high up, and it rejects strongly on a triple test, but the bar's massive, so no shorting there either. So now we're bouncing here at this low. Bar's not all that strong compared to that setup bar. Look at that. That's 7 ticks. That's 16, so it's more than twice the size. So there's probably too much momentum here to the short side. Don't want to take this little long here. The bar's not perfect anyway, regardless of the size. So no setup there. Doesn't trigger. Drops lower. Bouncing here now. Maybe the support's a little bit lower, still bouncing with the wicks there, and then a little closer to some of these bodies. So that's possible. Let's see, maybe we can get some high or low here, and we just get congestion, pushes right up to that high again. Probably going to turn, but no setup. Yep, turns off that high, bouncing now at the middle. We're just in the middle of this range, so there's really nothing you can take in any of this. Get this like second entry short, but it's not quite at that resistance. Bar's not all that great anyway. Just look at that flat EMA, price is right in the middle, so there's just nothing here. We do turn off the high side there, but no bar. Maybe we get something here at the low. Do got maybe this little downtrend working here. Maybe a little break new extreme, but we're not quite back at that support. And now we get this bounce here. Unfortunately, you get a bad setup bar. You just get this little bullish kind of doji looking bar here, and then it ticks lower and goes back high. But you really want a good bearish setup bar right into this support area, and that's not really happening. It's kind of floating, and the setup bar is terrible. So looks like it would have ticked you in and stopped you pretty much immediately. So you got to be really careful on these range trades. They need to really, most of the times, you want the body of the setup bar and signal bar to form at that support line, and this just didn't happen here. Plus the setup bar is the wrong color, like I said. So no setup there. Looks like this has a push down, break, new extreme. Pushing back into the range now. It looks like maybe a little trend right here. It breaks, and then you get this second entry short here. Really strong bar closing basically below this, but your uptrend may want to retest here. It's a really strong bar. It may push lower, but you don't really have a downtrend in play here. That EMA is still flat. I don't think you can argue that's valid. It looks clearly like 2 legs down, so yeah, it would have worked, but just no setup there. This may have confirmed some wider channel, but that would have been the third touch, so we can keep an eye on this for now. And it's pushing a lot lower now. This looks like also a tighter channel with a break new extreme. Maybe this is wider. And yeah, we bounced there, push strongly. Not really bouncing at a critical, I guess you could say these highs right here. That's about where we bounced the support resistance area. Nah, even a little bit below that. So just kind of turning in a random spot. So we don't really know exactly what's happening here. We get this first entry short, but we got this micro trend in play. And we turn off that same low basically here. So no setups. Pushing to get the second leg of this uptrend right here. Let's see if we turn at the resistance. And we do get a large visual second entry short and a technical second entry. But look at this move right here. These 3 bullish bars closing on or near their high, and then your signal bar is not all that good anyway. It's also slightly above this resistance area, and you can see it backed up right into it at the end. So no setup there. Didn't trigger anyway. Pushes higher. You get one more push up, but now it's just congested. Still making higher highs, higher lows. It looks like a break from this channel if it is valid. Maybe it was. Maybe it has an overshoot, and that's what led to the break. It's hard to know. Get this equal high push here, but look at that congestion right into the EMA. Since this made that equal low, I meant to draw this a minute ago. You could draw this almost as a separate channel. It maybe does have a break new high. And now it pushes lower. Pushes back into the EMA. This could be seen as like a 2-legged jog back, but the bar is not any good anyway. Drops lower again. And I remember in real time, I was kind of going back and forth between if this is a little bit wider, but it's really hard to argue that it's that wide in my opinion. If it's really tight, it's right here. If it's a little bit wider, it's right here. Either way, that looks like a pretty clear break. It is a small break, but it's pretty clear in my opinion. So notice that break also coincided with an EMA gap, push above the EMA after it was holding for several swings. So that tells me that it probably is a push to a new extreme. And notice you also get these 2 exhaustive looking pushes down to that new extreme. So even locally, you can argue this trend's here, but that has a break new extreme as well. So, and we're also bouncing at this opening area. So this downtrend may be played out. It's hard to know. We'll see what happens at the EMA. We get this second entry, but like I said, you're bouncing at this critical area. Your downtrend very likely has that break right here with two legs. The local downtrend has a break in no extreme, and then by the time this bar closes, you're all the way back within what, a point of the lows. So I don't think there's a setup here. And you can see, yep, it would have stopped you out. So a little tricky there if you're just taking straight up second entries. But if you look at the larger context here, I think that's pretty easy to avoid. Now we get this little equal high push. The issue is you've got this little range here. You've got this support area that could be acting as resistance. But if you notice, once again, it's kind of like a repeat pattern of this, and this did work, but there's some reasons against it. It's this little choppy congestion above the EMA, and it's forming right into this support resistance area. It's not clearly pushing below, coming back and testing it. It's kind of just forming on it. So in my decision, this is some indecision. It's like a fourth entry as well. So I don't think there's a trade there. It would have worked. Bounces at the lows a little bit, but then keeps going. So you got another leg down now. So at this point, you may be wondering, maybe it is wider and it's fitting, kind of going back and forth. I was doing that at least in real time. Still looks like a break to me. You also came up short on this swing here of hitting the lower side. So tough call, but more just sitting on your hands here because it's difficult to know what's happening. You get this second entry, but massive bar, and then it formed above the EMA. Kind of in no man's land again, just kind of a weird spot. Looks like the second entry failed, pushes higher now, a lot higher. This is almost a new trend on its own, right there. It looks like it has a break new extreme. We've got some resistance either in this area or now that we turned here later, it could be right here, somewhere right in this area here. So let's see if we turn there. We do turn there, but after 3 bullish bars, that's too risky. We maybe could have seen a lower high form right here, but it just pushed higher once again. Now we get this bar with an equal high, but it's just kind of out in no man's land. A little bit above this resistance, actually forming right into it, which could act as support. You're super far from the EMA. You've got the break, 2 legs up, but still think this is just too risky. You can see it would have worked there, but just no setup for something I'm willing to take. So now we got a fairly strong push below that EMA. 3 bullish bars into the EMA, first entry short, get the new low there. So now we're just, looks like maybe a new range has formed. Let's draw that. Something like this, but you can see it's not really consistently holding. We turned a little prematurely here, broke above it here. If this is the support, we have a breakout to the low side on that too. So just difficult area in my opinion. Just rangy, but no clear support resistance that's consistently holding. Let's see if I can get this. Oh, shade it. There we go. So yeah, we're just mid-range here, so there's just nothing you want to take in the middle of this. Now we get a second leg down, and you've got the break new low, but this looks like probably it's going for a measured leg. And you can see we got that and more. This looks exhaustive, but let's see. Bouncing kind of random. It's probably going for this close gap. That would be my target. And it's really finding some support. You could say this is on trend as well, but it's also got the retest. So this second entry is not something you want to take in my opinion. It's too far from the EMA. And like I said, this is almost like a double bottom, so you could see it as a first entry. It's like you could have gotten a small scalp, but not worth the risk in my opinion. Pushing above the EMA now. Maybe some little trend like this. Coming back here, now dropping lower. Just kind of bouncing in no man's land. It's like the second leg up from that. EMA held, and then that's 330. So, not really any trades on the primary chart from what I can see. I think the only one you could really argue for, if you want to be super aggressive, I guess, is maybe this second entry, but it's coming after 3 bearish bars closing on or near their low. It's just got an equal low compared to the setup bar. It's backing off of that EMA. You could say this is tighter, but regardless, this move is pretty consistent as far as a singular push right here to the bearish side. And if you've had this a little bit tighter, it may look like a break no extreme. It is the first gap below the EMA. A lot of the times that'll retest, but the bar's just not strong enough for me to justify the context. Drop below this support as well a little bit. The previous support, was right. It looked to be right here earlier. So, in my opinion, maybe just a couple too many negatives to consider that. So I did want to, since there wasn't any trades, I wanted to pull up the second chart just with the different tick setting offset. Still the 2000 tick chart, but let's take a look at how that one looked. Several more setups on this one today. So I'm not going to do the bar by bar on this, but I will just kind of review it. We got that same spike up, chop sideways. We got this spiking channel. Notice this one you can be drawn a little bit wider with it still fitting. Let me go to my regular mouse. And so it fits right here for this second entry long. It's a little congested there, but if you want to, take it to the highs, that's 3 points almost. So that would have worked nicely. Really nice bar locally. There's some congestion there though. And then it comes back. This looks like on this chart it's the first break rather than the break no extreme already. And we get a second entry long. This one has a lot higher quality bar right here. It also doesn't have those 3 bearish bars before. It looks more like a failed breakout. Kind of a little bit hard to describe, but this looks more sideways on this chart than the other chart. So it looks kind of like a failed breakout. The bar is way better. So if you want to take that one, it's a little bit better option on this chart. And then on this one, we get this triple test right after. Clear triple test, second entry short. This looks like the retest leg. You're turning off that resistance fairly far from the EMA as well. 2 points, 3 points to the low. So I think this is a great trade right here. And then shortly after, we turn right back at that support again. We get this higher low, second entry long. Not as much room on this one, so you need to either drop a limit or just take it for a small scalp. You still got 2 points to the high there, but you can see it turned a tick or two prematurely from that resistance line. So decent trade there as well. Just got to be careful with your target. Just not much room. Really for this one and this one. So, chop sideways, nothing here. Turned here, just like earlier. It looks even more clearly like a break of this downtrend on here. It chops to a new low, really nothing here. Nice bar for a higher low here, but context not all that great. This downtrend appears to have, or you appear to have a local downtrend here in play on this chart still. It's just kind of in no man's land. Really sweet bar, but running that EMA, so nothing there. Pushes higher, you get the break new high. On this one, that little bar is also above the resistance, but on this chart it's only 3 ticks, so it would have worked nicely. You get this lower high, but right into that EMA. Sweet bar again, but would have wanted this higher, maybe right up in this area rather than right here. Pushes sideways, get the second leg to a new low, just nothing here. And then on this chart, this looked nothing like this on the primary chart. It looks pretty clearly to me like this little spike up in a channel. So I actually took this trade right here. It's 2 ticks off perfect on the signal bar, which makes it more aggressive, but you can see that EMA holding, and you get a second entry long right at this spike and channel key entry point as well as that EMA. You get the nice push on the first entry, creating this little EMA gap here, nice body bar on the setup bar back to the EMA and key entry point. Also bouncing at that important level, the opening price there. A lot of time there's reactions at those levels. So this clearly looks like a spike channel here. At the time, I was going back and forth in real time if it's this or the spiking channel, but either way, it's going to align at that key entry point in the EMA. Looks like in the end it was the spiking channel. So if you're trading that, if you're trading a 2000 tick chart today with a different offset from the normal options 2000 tick chart, you could have gotten some really nice setups early on, and then maybe that one later. There may have been some other ones in here if you had a different offset setting than I did. But that just goes to show you if you just kind of play with your settings, you can find more opportunities on the same chart. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. Just a quiet range day. Been like that a lot lately. Going into December, pretty expected. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. Subscribe and like if you enjoyed this video. Check out our course at toppictrading.com if you're interested in trading like we do. And y'all have a great weekend. Bye.